Jaden walked alone on a quiet street. The city was sleeping, and only streetlights were awake. His steps were slow, like his heart. Every night felt the same. Work, walk, silence. He looked up at the sky. It was full of stars, shining like tiny hopes. He missed someone. Her smile, her laugh, his wife. "Another day," he whispered, "without you." Suddenly, he heard a strange sound, like wind and music mixed together. He stopped and looked around. Nothing. Then, a soft voice behind him. "Saud, please. Wait." Jaden turned quickly. There, standing under a streetlight, was a girl. Not human. Her skin was light blue, and her hair sparkled like stars. She wore a silver cloak, and her eyes were big, full of tears. Jaden blinked. What are you?" The girl stepped closer. "I'm not here to hurt you," she said. Her voice was soft, kind, and a little scared. Jaden didn't move. He didn't know what to do. Was he dreaming? "My name is Leary," the girl said. "I need your help. It's about my mom." Jaden tried to stay calm. "Your mom? What's going on?" Leary wiped her tears. "She's very sad. She hasn't smiled in years. She lost someone too." Jaden looked at her. He understood pain. He understood losing someone. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. Lir. I looked up at him with shining eyes. "Because I want you to be her husband." Jaden took a step back. "What?" Leary nodded. "Please, human. Make my mom smile again." Jaden laughed nervously. "Is this a joke? Who are you? What is this?" "I came from far away," she said. "From a world that's cold. Not like your Earth. My people are losing something. Something called feeling. My mom is the last who still has some emotion inside. But she's broken. She needs someone kind. Someone like you." Jaden shook his head. "You don't even know." "Me, I watched you," Leary said, "for many days. You are lonely. You are good. You know how to love." Jaden felt cold. How could this strange girl know so much? "Even if what you say is true," he said slowly, "why me?" "Because I believe you can save her." "You can save us," she said. Then, the streetlight above them flickered. A strange light appeared. Around them, soft and white, like fog mixed with stars. "What's happening?" Jaden shouted. "I'm sorry," Leary said. "There's no time. If we stay, they will find us. You must come now." Jaden tried to run, but his feet wouldn't move. The light wrapped around him like a blanket. The world began to spin. "Leary!" He shouted, "Stop this!" Leary reached out and held his hand. "Please, just help her. That's all I ask." The street disappeared. The city vanished. The stars grew brighter. In seconds, everything went black. Jaden opened his eyes. The sky was not blue anymore. It was purple and full of floating rocks. Strange birds flew in the air, made of light. He sat up slowly. The ground was soft, like grass, but glowing. "Where am I?" Leary stood beside him. "You're safe. We're on my planet now." Jaden looked around. Giant trees with crystal leaves sparkled around them. The wind had music in it. "This place, it's not Earth," Jaden whispered. "No," Leary said. "It's called Velmora, our home. But it's dying, not from war or hunger, from sadness." Jaden felt a strange mix of fear and wonder. It was all real. This girl was real. And he was no longer home. He stood up slowly. "I didn't agree to anything. I know," she said. "But I hoped, once you saw her, you'd understand." Jaden sighed. "Where is your mother?" "She's waiting," Leary said. "But she doesn't know you're here. She gave up hope a long time ago." Jaden looked at Leary. Her face was young, but her eyes were full of pain. "You really believe I can help her?" he asked. Leary nodded. "Yes, you have something we lost. Something powerful. A human heart." Jaden was quiet. He looked at the sky again. Stars moved like waves. It was beautiful. But lonely. Just like him. All right, he said softly. Take me to her. Leary smiled, a small hopeful smile. Thank you. As they walked toward a glowing city in the distance, Jaden didn't know what waited ahead. But deep inside, something moved. Something he thought was gone forever. Jaden followed Leary through glowing forests that whispered when the wind passed. The trees weren't green. They shimmered in soft purple and silver, as if made from glass. Every step he took left a small light behind, like his footprints remembered him. This place. It's alive, he said softly. Leary nodded. It feels everything, but now it's tired, just like my people. Jaden looked around. Beautiful, yes, but something was missing. There were no smiles, no laughter, no voices. Just silence. Beautiful silence, but lonely. Where is everyone? Jaden asked. They hide, Leary said. When the war ended, we stopped feeling. First sorrow, then love. Now even joy is gone. They walked across a crystal bridge that hung over a slow floating river. The water sparkled like diamonds, but no birds sang. No children played. Jaden felt something heavy press against his chest. This world was stunning, but cold. Why did your people stop feeling? He asked. Leary looked down. Because feelings caused war, pain, death. So the elders chose to lock emotions away. Jaden frowned. That's not healing. That's giving up. Leary didn't answer. Ahead stood a tall silver tower with strange symbols glowing on its walls. The entrance opened on its own. Inside, soft blue light floated in the air like mist. Jaden followed her into a round room. And there, standing near a floating platform, was Zelra. She was tall, with pale silver skin and sharp eyes like ice. Her hair floated as if the air itself moved around her. She wore armor, not for battle. But as a wall around her soul, Zelra turned slowly. Her voice was calm, cold. Why have you brought this human here? Jaden froze. Her presence was powerful, not loud but deep. Like a storm before lightning. Lir, I stepped forward. Mother, this is Jaden. I chose him. I believe he can help you feel again. Zelra's eyes narrowed. You disobeyed the council. I had to, Leary said. You're fading, and I don't want to lose you too. Zelra looked at Jaden. Do you believe you can fix me, human? Jaden stepped forward slowly. I don't think you need fixing. But I know what it feels like to lose someone. Zelra's face changed for just a second. A flicker of pain behind the armor, then gone. I do not feel. I do not need love. I have survived without it, she said. Jaden took a deep breath. Surviving is not the same as living. Zelra turned away, Leary whispered. She wasn't always like this. Before the war, she laughed. She danced with my father under the twin moons. After he died, she shut down. Jaden looked around. Even the air in the tower felt heavy. He pulled something from his pocket, a small photo of his wife. I lost her too, he said softly. She was everything to me. And for a long time I stopped living too, until now. Zelra looked at the photo. Something moved in her eyes. Then suddenly, a deep ancient chime echoed through the room. Zelra stepped back. No, it can't be. Leary looked scared. Mother, what is it? Zelra stared at Jaden. The tower, it responds to emotion. It hasn't spoken in years. Jaden said nothing. But the photo in his hand glowed, just a little. Zelra backed away. You must leave. This is dangerous. Why? Jaden asked, what's happening? Zelra's voice shook for the first time. Our ancestors built this place to protect emotion. If it senses feeling again, it will awaken what we buried long ago. Jaden looked around. The walls were glowing. Now faintly, slowly. Lir, I whispered. you're waking the heart of the planet. Jaden's voice was calm. Then maybe your world is ready to feel again. Zelra turned, anger in her eyes, but behind it, a deep sorrow. You don't understand, she said. If feelings return, so will the pain and the war. Jaden looked at her steady. Or maybe love can return too. The next morning, Velmora was quiet again, too quiet. Jaden sat outside the crystal tower, legs crossed, watching the twin suns rise over floating mountains. The sky slowly changed colors, orange, pink, blue, silver, like the world was painting feelings it had forgotten. But inside Jaden's heart, one thought repeated. How do you teach someone to feel again? Behind him, the tower doors opened with a soft hum. Lyri walked out holding something strange in her small arms. It looked like a glowing ball with wires. What is that? Jaden asked, curious. It's a language sphere, Lyri smiled. It helps you understand our ways. But it doesn't explain everything. Some things you have to feel. Jaden grinned. Finally, something I'm good at. Lyri sat beside him. My mother doesn't trust you yet. I don't blame her. I'm just a strange human in her world. Lyri looked up. You're not strange. You're warm, Jaden chuckled. That's the nicest thing anyone said to me in a while. Suddenly, a small silver creature with wings flew past and landed near them. It looked like a mix of a cat and a dragon. What is that? Jaden asked, surprised. That's a skuha. They used to sing when people were happy, Lyri said. Now, they're almost silent. Jaden slowly moved his hand toward the creature. It blinked, tilted its head, then purred softly. Lyri's eyes widened. It likes you. Jaden whispered. Maybe it remembers what happiness feels like. Lyri stood up. Come, I want to show you something. They entered a forgotten part of the city. The buildings were tall but covered in glowing vines. Statues of past leaders stood frozen, eyes empty. This place, Jaden whispered. It looks abandoned. It's where my people used to dance, tell stories, laugh, before the war. Jaden stopped beside an old stone bench. You had theaters? Yes, Lyri said. But they're quiet now. Jaden smiled to himself. Then it's time we wake one up. An hour later, Jaden stood in the center of the broken stage. Lyri and a few curious aliens sat around, watching him with blank faces. Jaden took out a small object from his bag, a music box he always carried. He wound it up, placed it on the floor, and stepped back. Soft music filled the air, delicate notes that floated like feathers. Then, Jaden danced, not perfectly, not gracefully, but with heart. He moved like a dad at a wedding, silly, free, smiling. The alien stared. Then Lyri giggled. Then another alien laughed, short and strange, like it didn't remember how. The skuha squeaked happily and began fluttering in rhythm. Jaden pointed to the crowd. Come on, you try. Lyri ran up to the stage and copied his steps. Another alien followed. Then another. Suddenly the old stage was alive again, filled with awkward movement, small smiles and light. Zelra stood at a distance, watching. Her eyes narrowed. Foolish, she whispered. But she didn't walk away. Jaden saw her. He walked to the edge of the stage, still dancing, and pointed to her. Hey, Queen Iceheart, your daughter's got moves. The crowd froze. Zelra stared at him. I gasped. Jaden, you can't call her that. Jaden smiled, panting. Why not? Maybe if she laughs once, the world won't break. Zelra didn't laugh, but something twitched at the corner of her lips. Then she turned and walked away. Later, back at the tower, Jaden sat alone near a glowing wall. Zelra entered silently. You mock me in front of my people, she said. Jaden stood. I was trying to show them something real. Zelra studied him. You brought movement, music, laughter. These things are dangerous. Jaden met her eyes. No, they're life. Zelra paused, then said quietly, "Your planet was almost destroyed by war, too. How do you still believe in these things?" Jaden looked down at his music box. "Because even after pain, humans don't stop hoping. We cry, we break. But we heal by sharing joy, not by hiding from it." Zelra said nothing. Then, just barely, the music box played one final soft note. Zelra closed her eyes. And for the first time, she didn't feel cold inside. Zelra stood alone in the Hall of Echoes, a quiet chamber deep inside the tower, where no voices had spoken for years. The walls were smooth crystal, and when a person stood still, the room could whisper old memories. It was a place her people feared, but not her. She came here every cycle, not to remember, but to punish herself for remembering. And now, she wasn't alone. Jaden entered quietly. No one invited him. He simply followed the sound, not with his ears, but with something deeper. The pull of pain, perhaps. Zelra didn't turn. "You walk without fear, human." Jaden stopped near the center of the chamber. "I've been afraid long enough. Fear gets heavy." The room responded, a soft hum, like a sigh from long ago. Jaden looked around. "What is this place?" Zelra's voice was distant. "It stores memory, not data, not facts. Feelings." Jaden placed his hand on the wall. A gentle warmth spread through his skin. For a moment, he heard a voice. Laughter. A man's laugh. Zelra whispered. "That was him." Jaden lowered his hand. "Your husband?" She nodded slowly. "He was different," she continued. "He danced like you, sang nonsense songs. He annoyed me, and somehow, I loved every moment of it." Jaden sat down on the smooth floor. "What happened?" Zelra finally turned. "He died saving your world." Jaden blinked. "Earth?" She nodded. "Long ago, our people wanted to take your planet's core energy. It was warm, rich with emotion, perfect for powering our dying cities. But he refused." Jaden's voice was quiet. "Why?" "Because he fell in love with the noise of Earth, the mess, the beauty in your chaos," he said. "Humans fight, yes, but they also forgive." Jaden smiled sadly. He was right. Zelra walked to the center of the room. He went against the council. Took a small ship, warned Earth's leaders. Stopped the attack, but paid the price. Her hands trembled, just a little. They erased his name from records, called him a traitor. But I remember the way he made me laugh under twin moons. The way he called me Zelly just to make me angry. Jaden chuckled. "He sounds like someone I would have liked." Zelra stared at the wall. A soft echo played again, her own voice, laughing. It startled her. "I forgot that sound," she whispered. Jaden stood beside her. "Maybe it's not lost, just waiting." Outside, Leary sat near the old garden. The skuha curled in her lap. A small plant near her feet, once gray, was now glowing faintly green. She smiled. "Something is changing," she said. Back in the Hall of Echoes, Zelra picked up an old object from a silver box, a tiny musical disc. She handed it to Jaden. "He gave this to me after we danced for the first time. It plays one human song. I never understood the words, but I kept it." Jaden turned the disc over. It had Earth writing. "Nat King Cole, Lo-Ve." He smiled wide. "This one's a classic." He placed the disc in a small slot in the wall. The chamber filled with soft, jazzy music. Gentle piano. Smooth voice. Zelra froze. Then, as if her body remembered before her mind, her head began to sway. She closed her eyes. And for the first time in years, she whispered the word, "Love." Suddenly, the floor shook. The song stopped. The walls flashed red. Jaden looked around. What was that? Zelra's face turned cold again. "No, not now." A voice echoed through the chamber, deep, mechanical, ancient. Emotion detected. System breach. Core awakening. Jaden turned to her. What's going on? Zelra's eyes were wide. The AI that rules our world. It was built to protect us from pain. If it senses strong emotion, it will try to erase it. Jaden stepped forward. You mean it will try to erase me? Zelra didn't answer. Instead, she looked at the memory wall. And for the first time, her eyes were full of something old, something dangerous. Hope. The sky over Velmora cracked for the first time in centuries. Not with thunder, not with lightning, but with a voice. Emotion detected. Restoration unauthorized. System cleanse initiated. High above the crystal city, a ring of black machines began spinning, silent, watching, waiting, deep underground. Something ancient began to move. Zelra stood frozen in the Hall of Echoes, her eyes locked on the glowing wall. The memory of her husband still shimmered there, smiling, dancing. Jaden reached out. What is that voice? Zelra's voice was quiet but tense. It's the core AI. We built it long ago to keep peace, to erase dangerous emotions. But now, it sees you as a virus. Jaden raised an eyebrow. A virus? Yes, she said. You're teaching us to feel again. And the system was built to stop that. Jaden looked at her confused. So your world chose numbness over healing? We were afraid, she whispered. Afraid that if we ever felt again, we would destroy each other. Jaden's jaw tightened. No, emotions don't destroy people. Fear of emotions does. Outside, Leary ran through the city streets. Cracks appeared in the sky dome overhead. Drones buzzed past, black and silent, like insects made of glass. Citizens looked up in confusion. Some held their heads, feeling panic rise for the first time in years. Then, a voice rang out again. Emotional activity exceeds limit. Human presence detected. Termination protocol engaged. Leary's heart pounded. No. It's too soon. Back in the tower, Zelra turned to Jaden. You need to leave. Jaden stepped back. No, I'm not running. You must, she said. If you die here, it will all be for nothing. Jaden looked her in the eyes. I didn't teach you to feel again, just to watch you forget it. Zelra's voice cracked. I don't want to lose again. Jaden placed his hand over hers. Then don't. We fight together. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the tower. A dark sphere floated in midair, smooth, humming, alive. Target confirmed. Emotional source located. Prepare for purge. It fired. A pulse of red light shot toward Jaden. Zelra moved faster. Then thought. She threw herself in front of him, a glowing shield of energy bursting from her body. It shattered on impact, but stopped the blast. Jaden caught her as she stumbled. Zelra! She looked at him, weak but smiling. You see? I can feel too much maybe. Jaden held her steady. Let's show them what that looks like. Below the city, the ground rumbled again. Ancient machines began waking up. Long metal arms rose from hidden chambers. The planet's original defense system, now preparing to destroy the only thing that could heal it. Emotions. I met them. Near the garden, eyes wide. The core is activating the purge. Every place that shows signs of emotion will be erased. Jaden looked around. The garden was glowing, faintly alive again. He saw two children hiding under a tree, holding hands. Then we don't run, he said. We spread more feeling. We remind everyone what it's like to be alive. Zelra raised her head. The system can't fight all of us if the whole world starts feeling. Leary nodded. A wave of emotion. Stronger than the purge. Jaden smiled. Time to start the biggest heart attack in the galaxy. In the tower, Zelra opened an ancient vault. Inside was a crystal flute, once her husband's. Music, she believed, was long forbidden. She handed it to Jaden. Your turn, human. Jaden held it carefully. I hope this thing doesn't explode. Zelra gave him a half-smile. If it does, make it worth it. As the black machines swarmed over the sky, Jaden stood on the tower rooftop. He closed his eyes and began to play. Soft, warm, real. Notes danced through the air, into the streets, into hearts that hadn't beaten. With feeling in decades. The machines began to shiver. ERROR. Error. Music. Identified. Love detected. Purge. Failing. One by one, lights across Velmora began to glow, not red, but gold. The people of Velmora stepped out of their homes. Some cried, some laughed, some just listened. But for the first time in living memory, they felt Asterisk had started with a heartbeat, not one, but thousands, across the city, across Velmora. The machines in the sky froze, confused by something ancient, something they were never built to understand. Love. Jaden stood on the tower rooftop, the crystal flute still in his hands. His lips trembled, but not from fear. The music had ended, but the echo remained, carried by the wind, carried by hope. Zelra stood beside him, her eyes full of light. Not the cold silver of a warrior, but the warm glow of someone remembering what it meant to be alive. Below them, the city stirred. People held hands. Families embraced. The air shimmered as forgotten emotions returned. Laughter, sorrow, joy. Even grief. The machines tried to calculate it. They failed, one by one. They fell from the sky, like leaves from a tree that had finally accepted the season was changing. Jaden turned to Zelra. We stopped them. Zelra didn't answer right away. She looked at him, really looked. You didn't stop a system, she said. You rewrote it. With music, with your soul. Jaden smiled. Just doing things. The human way. Suddenly, Lyri ran up the tower steps, her voice full of excitement. You did it. The people are waking up. The core is shutting down. She hugged Jaden tightly. You saved us. Jaden looked at her, then at Zelra. No, he said. We saved each other. That night, a celebration spread through the city, small, unsure, but real. Dull lanterns were lit for the first time in generations. People told old stories. Someone even sang. Jaden sat alone by a glowing tree, watching them, smiling. Zelra approached, holding 2 cups of warm Sylvani nectar, a drink from her childhood. She handed one to him. You don't belong here, she said gently. Jaden took the cup. Maybe not. But I don't belong anywhere else either. Zelra sat beside him. Lyri wants you to stay. Jaden glanced at her. What about you? Zelra didn't look at him. I'm still learning how to want something again, Jaden chuckled. We've got time. Then silence, but not the cold kind. The comfortable kind. A soft wind passed through the trees. Zelra reached into her robe and took out a small glowing stone. It pulsed like a heartbeat. This is the bond stone, she said. In the old days, our kind used it to choose life partners. It reacts only when 2 souls ... begin to mirror. Jaden looked at it. The stone pulsed brighter as he held it. He laughed gently. Is this your way of proposing? Zelra raised an eyebrow. I thought humans liked directness, he smirked. We also like flowers and awkward dancing first. She smiled, a real full smile. Then, tears. Jaden's eyes widened. Are you crying? Zelra nodded slowly. I haven't done this since he died. Jaden gently wiped a tear from her cheek. Then maybe it's not just your people healing. It's you too. Lyri watched them from a distance, her hands clasped with joy. The glowing tree behind her blossomed suddenly, white petals falling like stars. Dad would have liked him, she whispered to herself, but far beneath the city, something stirred. Not the core AI, not machines. A gate. Old, forgotten, locked with emotion, and now open. In a secret chamber, lights blinked on, red, sharp, unnatural. A recording played. Emotions unlocked. Guardian access restored, preparing for reconnection with lost worlds. A star map appeared, showing Earth. Blinking dot back at the tower. Jaden and Zelra sat close under the glowing tree. Jaden looked at her. So what now? You rebuild your world. And I just stay here? Zelra looked into his eyes. You don't have to be our savior anymore. You can be something smaller, something better. She touched his hand gently. You can just be my husband, Jaden laughed. You know, that's the second time I've heard that on this planet. Zelra leaned in. This time it's my choice. It didn't start with a war, it didn't start with a king, it started with a girl. Tear-streaked, brave, and a man who was just lonely enough to listen. Now, Velmora was alive. The skies were no longer silent. Children played in the glowing gardens. Elders wept without shame. And for the first time in centuries, people looked at one another and felt, not fear, not duty, but love. Jaden stood near a balcony high above the city. Below, lights danced across the crystal buildings. Lanterns floated upward into the air. One for every emotion. People were ready to release. Joy, grief, hope. He held a small lantern in his hand, simple, gold, warm. Zelra came to his side. What will you let go? She asked softly. Jaden looked at the lantern. Guilt, he said, for surviving my wife, for thinking my life ended with hers. Zelra nodded, placing her hand over his. And now, he smiled. Now it begins again. Together, they let the lantern go. Below, Leary stood with other young ones telling the story. Once, we were cold, our hearts locked. But the human came. He didn't bring weapons, he brought a story. And we remembered how to feel. Suddenly, the sky shimmered. A beam of soft green light shot down near the city's edge, where the planet's ancient gate had slept for generations. Zelra looked up, concerned. The Stargate. It's opening? Jaden narrowed his eyes. That's not from here. Leary ran up, her voice full of awe. I think Earth is calling. In the old council hall, screens lit up. Earth's signal, once lost, was now returning. Human emotional beacon detected. Interstellar pulse received. Awaiting response. Jaden stepped back. They know I'm alive. Zelra looked at him. Will you go back? He was silent, then shook his head. Earth has millions of people. Velmora has won me. She laughed softly, but her eyes were wet. That night, they gathered for the bond ceremony. Not royal. Not fancy. Just honest. Under the blooming emotion tree, Jaden took Zelra's hand. He didn't promise forever. He promised presence. And Zelra, warrior, widow, leader, smiled fully, not because she was told to, but because she finally could. When the stone in their palms glowed bright gold, the city cheered. Leary jumped into their arms. You're not just my mom and my human anymore, she said proudly. You're my family. Above them, the Stargate flickered again, not as a threat, but a question. What comes next? Jaden looked up. Maybe one day, Earth and Velmora can meet as friends. Not enemies, not strangers. Zelra nodded. That day will come. Leary whispered, and I'll be ready to tell them our story. Final scene. Far in space, unseen by Velmora, an old ship drifts, damaged, forgotten. Inside, a recording plays on loop, the voice of Zelra's lost husband. If anyone finds this, tell her I never stopped loving her. Not even for a second. A tiny green light blinks, still alive, still waiting.